6.3 banner lineup is just insane. I want to talk about what you can realistically expect from the version 6.3 banners, why the community is reacting the way it is, and how you can start planning ahead without feeling lost or overwhelmed. I can promise that by the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of the characters people are talking about for this patch, how they might work together, and why some players are panicking while others are already choosing their targets. I'll walk through everything slowly and naturally, so if you're feeling unsure or just curious about what 6.3 might bring, you're exactly in the right place. You can actually save up to 25% on latest banners through Lootbar. Personally, I lost my 50/50 and I just bought the 6,480 Genesis Crystals pack for $76 instead of $100. That's an instant $24 saved. Not only the discount, but the top-up process couldn't be easier. I entered my UID, selected my server, and within 2 minutes, the crystals arrived in my account. Plus, the double bonus for first-time purchases has been refreshed with the anniversary, so you can take advantage of that too. With over 100,000 satisfied users with 5-star rating, it's really my go-to choice for both personal top-ups. And here's a bonus. New users get an extra 10% discount, while returning users can save up to 5%. You can find the link in the description below or in pinned comments, so don't miss out. Now listen, the lineup for version 6.3 is basically set at this point. The names everyone is talking about come from Home to Cat, and when it comes to banner lineups, that's the one source the community treats as rock solid. Whenever a version is approaching, this is the person who almost always gets the lineup right. So players see these 4 characters as essentially guaranteed. So you can definitely expect Columbina, Zibai, Neuvillette, and Ineffa in 6.3. The only thing we still don't know is the phase order. That part can shift based on events, story timing, or lantern, right? So the characters are locked in, but whether they show up in the first half or the second half is still completely open. That's why people are so anxious right now. Depending on how the phases are arranged, your entire saving plan can change instantly. One of the names you've probably seen discussed the most is Columbina. She's easily the most talked about character right now. And even though the game hasn't officially revealed every fine detail about her, there's a strong sense in the community that she plays a unique role, something we haven't really had before. The excitement around her comes from the idea that she leans heavily into reaction-focused gameplay, especially the newer elemental interactions that started appearing recently. If you've been following the direction of the game in the past few versions, you probably noticed that new elemental interactions have been slowly introduced and expanded, and Columbina seems designed to sit right at the center of that direction. That's why so many players are putting her at the top of their priority list. She feels like the kind of character who becomes a key support for teams built around these newer ideas, much like how Nahida became a must-have support for Dendro teams the moment she arrived. Something that makes Columbina even more interesting is that she seems to blend personal damage with team support in a very fluid way. If you're someone who enjoys characters that boost reaction damage or add extra layers of elemental interactions to your team, she might feel instantly appealing. A lot of players compare her potential value to characters like Farina or Kazuha, not because their kits are the same, but because they feel like system characters, units that pull entire teams together rather than just functioning on their own. When characters like that show up, they often stay relevant for years, so people are naturally thinking about the long-term benefits. Now, depending on how the banners are arranged, another character that is being talked about for 6.3 is Neuvillette. He's already one of the strongest hydro damage dealers in the game, and he's one of those characters who doesn't really fall out of relevance. Hydro characters in general tend to age well because the element is tied to so many powerful reactions, and Neuvillette takes advantage of that better than almost anyone. If you didn't pick him up the first time and you've watched content creators casually melt bosses with his charged attacks, it's totally normal to feel tempted. The interesting part is how he compares with Columbina. They're both hydro, but their roles couldn't be more different. Neuvillette is all about straightforward personal damage output, while Columbina is more about shaping reactions and boosting your whole team. That contrast makes the decision harder. If you want raw on-field damage, Neuvillette fills that role beautifully. If you're building teams around the newer reaction systems, Columbina might give you more value in the long run. And it's completely normal if you feel torn between the two, because they're good in entirely different ways. Moving into the second half of the version, one of the other names players are discussing is Zibai. She's described as a geo damage dealer who scales off defense, which is a style that tends to interest players who enjoy self-sufficient carries. Geo has always had a unique identity in the game, leaning more toward consistent personal damage and shielding rather than fast-paced reactions. With Zibai, the impression people have is that she acts as the main on-field carry in a team, building up resources and then releasing big bursts of geo damage. If you enjoyed characters like Noelle or Ito, there's a good chance Zibai will feel familiar but fresher because she incorporates some of the newer mechanics as well. The question many players are asking is whether Geo will finally get a stronger presence again. For a while, Geo hasn't been the most popular element because the game has been pushing reaction-heavy designs, especially after Dendro arrived. But if you're someone who enjoys the feel of a sturdy, hard-hitting Geo carry, Zibai might be worth thinking about. She also seems to have good synergy with teammates who offer geo damage buffs or improved crystallized value, which leads right into the next character being discussed, Iluga. Iluga is talked about as a flexible geo support who can set up buffs for the rest of the team. His style seems to revolve around generating steady off-field damage and boosting your other geo characters, making him a natural partner for someone like Zibai. Even players who aren't excited about Geo as a whole are admitting that the idea of having a support who can keep your team's Geo damage high without needing to be on the field all the time is very appealing. And because both Zibai and Iluga seem to fit into the same theme, a lot of players are treating them as a natural pairing, almost like Albedo and Zhongli during the earlier Geo-focused patches. What makes version 6.3 tricky is that all these characters serve different roles. And depending on what kind of teams you enjoy, your priority list might look completely different from someone else's. If you care about new reaction systems and you want to future-proof your account, Columbina is the name you'll probably watch most closely. If you miss Neuvillette and you want a top-tier hydro damage dealer who performs well in nearly every part of the game, then he becomes your main target. And if you're someone who loves Geo teams or wants a strong new Geo damage dealer, then Zibai and Iluga might be the pair you save for. Of course, nothing is fully certain until the developers officially reveal everything. Banner order can shift, team synergy can end up different than players expect, and sometimes characters perform much better or much worse than early impressions suggest. That's why it's important to think about what your own account needs, rather than trying to chase every interesting character at once. Even if a character looks incredible on paper, if they don't fit into your teams or you don't enjoy their playstyle, they won't feel satisfying to build. So when we talk about priority, I always suggest thinking about your long-term goals. Do you want a new support that might tie into future mechanics? Are you missing a powerful hydro damage dealer and want to fill that gap? Or are you simply excited about the idea of a new Geo pair that brings a different flavor to the game? These questions help you pick smarter, without feeling like you're forced into a corner by hype or pressure. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which character are you personally leaning toward? Are you saving for someone specific, or are you still undecided and trying to feel things out? Seeing how different players think about these choices always makes the discussion much more fun, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. If you want more deep dive videos like this, or you just enjoy staying ahead on updates, team ideas, and character breakdowns, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any latest update. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye.